Dewey.
All right, we are live.
Welcome everybody to Opportunity Investors Goes to Hawaii.
Nice.
Everybody was able to. All right, man, we are here. It's February, and we are talking to main man Nick, and he is in Hawaii, and we are all jealous of him. But guys, welcome to Opportunity. Thanks for coming out. Yes, a little bit of this. Yeah, we're glad to be here. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, but we're going to have Nick share his story, his real estate story, and that's going to be awesome. And we're going to dive into some of the strategies he has used to get where he has gotten. And if you guys have never been here before, Opportunity Investors it's all about getting together. We like to do it in person when we can. Right now we're doing it virtual, but we talk real estate investing and beer. We combine them together. And
Nice.
And we talk strategies, we talk financing, we talk about implementing those ideas in the real world, mostly in Hampton Roads. We try to do things that we think will actually work and talk about those things and talk to professionals who are doing stuff. But we also go outside of that, of course, and especially in this world right now with so much changing. We bring in industry experts, we bring in professionals, we bring in people who have done the things before, and then we talk about those ideas and we drink some beer. Pretty simple. The other thing is networking, and as soon as we can, we're going to bring that section back. We were just saying we'd all rather be, at a brewery right now and doing this in person, but we're doing the best we can with the circumstances we are in. So that being said, let's get this started. Let's do as we always do. Raise our glass for a quick toast. May your castle be secure and your cup overflowing.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, man. So we made it through 1 month of 2021, and that's good. And the market's kind of going nuts as we expected it would be. I think it's going to keep going nuts for some time now. We're all making bets on how long things are going to last, but at the same time, we don't know. I think we're all in a realm that we've never been in before. I think our country's in a realm we've never been in before. So it's pretty interesting. Opportunity. Like I said, we're going to try to go live probably April. I don't know. We haven't talked about March yet, but my guess is April because there's a lot of vaccine and different things coming together. So I think April is definite. Like I just went outside today and it was really nice outside. And I stopped by and picked up this beer real quick from Kova. I haven't been in there. This is the first time I went in there, and I was like, man, we need to do this in person really bad. So I don't think I can hold off with so much longer. What about you, Sean?
No, man, I got to get back to it. I'm ready to go. We can mask up 6 feet apart and still make it happen.
Yeah. So next month, do we know what we got going on next month? Is that you, Sean?
I'm sure we got plans on it, but the girls will help us and tell us and keep us straight.
Okay. So we'll come back to that. But my name's Alex Winfield. I am a local real estate agent here in Hampton Roads, and I work with investors. I do retail, and I think we all try to do a little bit of everything, and that's the fun. We do this group so that we can all learn about all these different ideas, get ideas from each other. Networking is a huge part of this. I learn from Sean all the time, learn from guys like Nick. And I think Nick and Sean, they learn from guys like me. We feed off of each other. That's what's so cool about this. We bring in different people because we like to hear about it. And we hope that others enjoy that as well. Sean, you want to kind of introduce the group and
for sure.
Do all that good stuff?
So, guys, my name is Sean Bowen. I'm the owner at Full Circle Investment Group, wholesaleoutofthebox.com, and most recently, Coastal Capital Group. So we do fix and flips, we do money lending, and we do wholesaling. So we do a good amount of all of it. been in the business for 10 years. I am local to Hampton Roads. We have done a lot of it, all the creative financing, the wholesaling, the rehabbing. So if you're local, even if you're not, reach out to us and we can help you. We're here to do that. And that's what this group is for. This all started by literally sitting down and being like, hey man, you want to get a beer? Yeah. You want to talk about some real estate? Yeah. And the next thing you know, we're here 3 years later. And keeping it going. Yeah. It's still
3 years, man.
Making it strong. So we really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And we encourage you guys to interact with us as much as possible. So over in the comment section, if you would, just leave anything question-wise. So as we go through here, Nick's going to kind of give you guys his story, his background, where he's coming from, what he's done, what he's doing. So yeah, put your questions over there, and then we're going to go through those as we can and try to get you guys as many answers as possible. As usual, guys, always, keep in mind, this is a very open group. There is structure, but nice and easy going, right? We're not the tough asses over here. This is a very laid back situation. We want you guys
dude. Come on.
We want you guys to have fun and enjoy it, and that's what it's for. So yeah, in short, I also want to thank always Vanessa and Ashley, because they always help us and keep us organized and keep us together and actually make this thing stay on track. So it makes us look like we know what we're doing, but really in the background, they're making it happen for us. So ladies, thank you always, as usual, for helping us keep this thing strong. That's it. Let's talk about Mr. Nick.
Hey, man. Thanks for joining us, dude.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It's great to always great to meet up with people and talk real estate.
I got one quick question.
Go for it.
How do you say your last name?
That would be Leboeuf.
Okay. It's good to know, since you were my client for like a long time.
Hey, man, I've heard it all ways. I'm not going to say it some way I haven't heard it. So.
I had your name on a contract for and probably wrote multiple contracts, and I'm like scared of like messing up people's names. So it's good to know. That's actually pretty easy to say. I thought it was Leboeuf.
You can do that.
I like Fragile. It's French.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, man. Well, so I was telling Nick has done a lot of different things in real estate, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I worked with Nick. What was that 3 years ago? We did that deal, that house, kind of multi-house deal thing.
Yeah, 2017 we bought that Virginia Beach house.
17. Yeah, so I actually met Nick at a trig meeting. You and Cordea were both there. Met you there. Yeah, man. Wow. Met you there, and then I either invited you to this or we caught up and basically just, I think we grabbed coffee or something first, maybe.
Yeah.
And kind of started off the relationship and started kind of talking real estate investing. And since then you've done a couple things by then, and then you kind of continued it. And so I'm excited to see, every time I talk to you, doing different things, and it's just exciting to see you finding success in this industry, man. So happy to hear about you. And if you don't mind, man, just kind of share about how you got from 0 to, what is it now, 13 units?
We are at
13 doors?
14 doors.
14 doors. Yeah, man. So that's awesome. You and Kara are great people. So excited to kind of hear your story and share that with the rest of the Opportunity Group.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I appreciate it. So I'll just do like a quick overview, and then we'll kind of dive in. So grew up upstate New York, was there until about 2015, moved down to Virginia Beach, was a cop in Norfolk for 5 years. Then we moved back up to upstate New York about 2 years ago. For my wife's job, she pulled me back up into the cold. I told her I'd never go back to New York again. You know how that goes. So I'm back in New York, and been up here for 2 years, and now started a exterior home cleaning business up here. So kind of complements being my own boss, being able to do real estate, investing on my time. So that's kind of, it's been a compliment. Real estate for me is kind of like a long-term plan. And then the the house washing business, exterior cleaning business is something that puts money in your pocket today. So they work well together in my situation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Give us that background story. You talked about being an officer in Norfolk. Talk about that a little bit, like from what that got you to where you're at, and how that all that got to real estate, because that was where I met you too.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. So I'll start in New York. Actually, it's our first purchase, and we'll kind of go from there, because we were only owned in New York for like 6 or 8 months before I got the job down in Norfolk. So,
Okay.
So the first deal we did was a 3-unit. Owner occupied was our goal. So I'm like really frugal.
Me too, bro.
Really cheap. You know, I say frugal, they say I'm cheap. So really frugal. And my wife and I, we got an apartment, and we were paying, I forget how much it was, you know, like $1,000 a month for rent. And I wrote that check the first time and was like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't be writing that check. So we need to figure out how we're going to fix this. So I don't know. We had this great idea. We're going to buy a 3-unit. We're going to live in one of the units, rent out the other 2, or live for free, basically. So we looked around for, I would say, probably 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months. We found a place. We ended up buying that 3-unit. There was a lot of different things that went into it. We ended up going to closing, and at closing they wrote us a check for like $2,000. Yeah. So I was like, wow, I'm a genius.
Winning.
So yeah, everything just kind of went right. I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. It was our first deal, and I did some research and stuff, but everything went great. They wrote us a check. It was like about a month or 2. One of the tenants moved out because it was fully rented. One of the tenants moved out. We moved into one of the units, and basically the 2 tenants paid the mortgage. So we were living for free, and I wasn't writing that $1,000 check every month, so I was happy.
Hell yeah.
Nice, man. So you were basically making $1,000 a month right out of the gate.
Yeah.
By not paying your rent. Now, how did you even come up with that idea? Like, where'd that come from?
So I don't know. I think it was just like, it was really like renting. Renting an apartment and writing that check, and it was like, there's got to be something else. Like, I can't. There's got to be a different way. Let's try and figure out, a different way to make this work, because, I was young. I was probably like 22, 23, and like $1,000 a month. That's a lot of money, going out the door. So I was like, I don't know. I think I found Bigger Pockets. I know that was one of the first place. I kind of did some research on Bigger Pockets, and somebody was talking about, house hacking or living in one of the units or renting out another unit. I was like, that sounds good. Let's give it a try.
Nice. Ingenuity is the mother of all invention. Forcing it to happen. I like it. All right. So what was the next step after that?
So yeah, then I went to college for criminal justice. I had a bachelor's degree, and I was working in a warehouse, and I was like, this isn't what I want to do. I want to be a cop. So I applied down the East Coast a little bit, and basically Norfolk and Virginia Beach, they both called me and wanted me to go, and then Norfolk gave me a spot in the academy. I ended up moving down there, and we rented again for a few months. I think it was like 6 or 8 months. We knew it was going to be temporary. We knew that we weren't renters.
Yep.
So we found a single family in Norfolk that was $125K. Needed some repairs. Nothing crazy. A lot of landscaping. Lawn was overgrown. That type of stuff. A lot of little stuff on the inside. But bought that. It was a decent deal. So we purchased that. We fixed it up, and then we ended up Airbnb-ing out one of the bedrooms because it was a 3-bedroom. Okay. And at this point, it was just my wife and I. So we were sleeping upstairs, and we were Airbnb-ing one of the bedrooms out, and basically most of the time that paid our mortgage. So
Nice.
again, we were living for free in that house.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And you were doing that before it was cool, man.
Yeah, it was cool. I think we started it.
You guys invented Airbnb, right? That's why you're on this.
I wish.
Yeah, right. Especially
You would have flown us out to Hawaii with you.
We would all be in Hawaii.
That's awesome. All right, so then you did that home, and then talk about some more stuff, like some more things that happened to you in Norfolk. Like, what else happened from there?
Yeah, so I was living the dream, man. Being a cop in Norfolk, had a bunch of great buddies. Dude, really, it was the most fun. Like,
Nice.
I loved it. I miss it. So much fun. Such a great job. Great people. Obviously, there's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of, tense moments and all that good stuff. But it was an awesome time. It's, I'm glad we went through it. And so I was doing that as my day job, and then met up with Alex. And you actually brought me that Virginia Beach property. So the next purchase was a Virginia Beach single family home out front. It was a 3-bed, 2-bath ranch. It was typical, like 1,400 square feet or something, in a nice neighborhood. It was nothing crazy. It needed some work on the inside, but the gem was out back. Out back, it had a whole detached house that was like a one bed, 1-bath house. It was completely separate. So I saw that as a good rental opportunity. Well, Alex did, because he brought it to me. I told him we were kind of looking for, to make a move. Didn't really give him anything specific. Excuse me. And he's like, a couple of weeks later, shot me an email or gave me a call and was like, "Hey, this just popped up." I think it had like a $60,000 price cut or something stupid. And like, yo, let's go check it out. And went and checked it out. And it was going to be a good amount of work, but saw potential in turning that back house into an Airbnb, because we were already doing the Airbnb in our bedroom.
Yeah.
And that was covering the mortgage. I was like, man, if we had a whole house out back, we would be able to make a ton of money on Airbnb. So ended up picking that up. The front house didn't need much. There was like some carpet and some paint and some stuff that just needed to be touched up so that we could move in. So that was owner occupied as well. We moved into the front house, and then I got to work on the back house.
I got to interject a little bit real quick,
Yeah.
because I still think it's awesome. We went in the back house, and it was so full of stuff, we couldn't find the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
We're like, I'm pretty sure there's a kitchen in here.
You had to use your imagination.
Nice.
But what's cool is Nick was actually trying to do a burst strategy at the time. That's what you were. And so, but I knew that they were creative and kind of up for whatever. So this one popped up. And as an agent, a lot of times you have the opportunity to say, who's the most likely to actually pull this thing off?
Yeah.
So I got with Nick and Kara. I was like, dude, y'all should do this. And Kara was like 9 months pregnant or something. And so I'm just thinking like, this isn't going to happen. This is too crazy. And so we walked there the first day, and they're like, let's put an offer on it. I'm like, I love you guys, man. Y'all just come in there and make a decision. And it was awesome. But you guys were able to see what all those, probably 50 other people that walked through that house couldn't see, because they saw that unit in the back as really a problem, and you guys saw it as an opportunity. So I think y'all made it, kick-ass deal out of that one just by being open for.
Yeah, I remember you were posting pictures. You had a 4Runner, right? You were like pulling shit out with your 4Runner, like pulling it apart, basically.
So I had like a whole deck and shed thing that was like rotted and falling in. I just
learned a good lesson. A good lesson that I've tried to teach future clients is don't ever say you're going to take all their crap. Don't ever put that in the contract. Note to self. How many loads did you have to get out of there, man?
Bro, I think I bought like 2 full roll-off dumpsters, and I filled them. And then I just went out and bought a trailer, and I just started loading it up because I figured it was cheaper than keep filling up these roll-offs, and I would get to use the trailer when I was done dump. But
yeah,
I think I have the trailer.
And you have the trailer. So it was a good investment. Yeah, I just wanted to make the deal work. And yeah, like the whole back house, you know, what do you think it is? Like 1,000 square foot house was just full of just junk, mattresses, bags of garbage, you know, just the typical stuff. And yeah, it was one of the things we wrote in the contract. I remember was you don't have to worry about emptying out that back house. Like, don't worry about it. You know, we'll take care of it.
As is.
As is.
Legit as is.
And
you
guys
worked really hard to get that to where it was, and it was beautiful when y'all were done with it.
So talk about that. How did it finish out? What happened with that?
Yeah, so basically, nights and weekends was working on this Airbnb. Basically gutted it, and we did renovation budget ended up to be about $20,000. I did almost all the work myself. Al helped me out with a good amount of it. Al's a good dude, very valuable dude. Alex
Nice.
And yeah, so then we put it up Airbnb, and I mean, immediately we were, you know, making more than enough to cover our mortgage. You know, putting some cash in our pocket. At the beginning, my wife Kara and I were the ones who were turning it over, cleaning it in between guests because it was just right out back.
Yeah.
And you know, cleaning fee was like $45, $50 or something like that. So we would just shoot out the back door, clean it real quick, you know, make $50 in 30 minutes. So we're all about the hustle and, you know, making as profitable as it could be. And yeah, we were stoked. It worked out really well for us. We still have it today. And yeah, I think we did total revenue last year was $40K.
Holy shit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. So you guys kept it in your portfolio then?
Yeah, we still have it.
So the front unit rents for whatever by itself, and then you have the back unit still Airbnb in?
Yeah. So we're renting out the front for $1,750.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so that basically covered all of our expenses, like our mortgage and, you know, all the taxes and everything that you know, for the whole
Sean, it's on the freaking water, dude.
What's that?
It's on the damn water, man. It's
I remember
crazy.
it. Yeah, I remember it.
I still look at that and I'm like, how did people not jump on that, dude? How much you buy it for? It's $215.
$215.
Holy smokes! And that was what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Not even.
Oh
yeah,
wow!
Probably like 3-4
man,
years.
you want to sell it? We'll get $350, almost $400 for it. Come on, buddy.
I know we're gonna be holding on to that one for a while.
It's making you money.
Yeah,
we love it. Our family stops in. They spend a night or two in the Airbnb. You know,
it's cool.
They love it. It's a great place. Whenever we go down, we stay there for a night or two, and
that's cool. That's a cool piece of property. All right, so what you got next? What happened next? What was the next step and like moving forward? What else happened? Let's talk about some properties.
Yeah. So we were in that place for about a year and a half, 2 years, and that like rounded out our 5 years in Virginia.
Okay.
Wife got a job offer up in New York. All of our family's from New York. We both grew up there, and it was a really good offer, really good pay, and I said I'm not moving back to New York, and then we moved to New York. So
yeah.
So we moved up there, and we're actually staying with her parents for like 9 months or more. Because we knew we weren't going to rent, and we're like, we'll find a place real quick. We'll just buy something to live in, maybe a duplex or something, and it'll be like a couple months, and we'll do the same thing again. And the market was hot. And the inventory was low, and it was about 9 months. We stayed with her parents, and we had a couple different irons in the fire, and we ended up closing on 3 different places in the same week.
Oh wow!
And it all came together.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was kind of going into it like the first one was our primary residence. So it's just a single family house, nice neighborhood, 3-bed, 2.5 bath. Basically, it had been rented out for the past like 5-6 years. Terrible landlords, out of state. The house was trashed. The interior was all torn up, and so it needed a lot of just cosmetic.
Yeah.
We purchased that for $179, and I just put $10,000 in and just redid, all the cosmetic stuff. It was only 20 years old, so it was built in 2000. Nice. So, yeah, it was just easy. It was carpet, paint, new ceiling fans, new lights, and so now we're living in that, and conservatively, that's probably valued at $275, $300. So we've got a lot of equity in that.
Nice.
With that being said, we're not Airbnb-ing, we're not doing anything, creative with that. So I think that I was okay with doing that because of all the equity we got into it.
Yeah.
So that's where we're living now. The next property is a single family house I purchased with a partner. We bought that cash, and I raised the finances to purchase that in cash, and my partner renovated it, and he paid for all the renovations, and we were going to burr it. That was the plan. This was all pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So COVID happened. We started renovating it. COVID happened. We finished the renovation. We've rented it out. Got some good tenants in there. Went to the bank, and the bank who had pre-qualified him before this all started now denied him because they tightened up some lending standards because of COVID. So we kind of had to shift there and figure out what we were going to do. We decided we had a good amount of equity in it because, the market's still going up and up and up. So let's just sell it. We fix it up. Let's just see if the tenants want to leave, and we'll just sell it.
Right.
And so that's what we've decided to do with that one. But we're probably 6 or 7 months into closing because we had a deal fall through.
Yep.
And then we have another deal that we've been under contract for like 10 weeks now. So we're just waiting for.
Sean and I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait a minute. These don't close just every time, all the time, no problems. Come on.
I mean, it's crazy, right? we signed the contract, so where's my money?
Totally. That's how it works. That's guy shows up with a briefcase of money, hands it over, you're good to go. No problem.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about taxes, insurance, electricity, water, all these holding costs that you're just paying out of pocket. Nah, don't worry. That doesn't matter,
dude.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now you're at, what'd you say, 13, 14 units?
Yeah, 14, and then we've got our primary, so basically 15.
Together.
So you're missing a couple in there. I think that's that third purchase, right?
Yeah. So that third one that closed all in the same week. It's still all in the same week. These three houses. The last one was an 8-unit.
Nice.
So yeah, I picked up an 8-unit off market, and that was, I kind of consider that my first real investment property because everything else up until then was like owner occupied, and we kind of house hacked it or did like Airbnb and we're creative. This was cool for me because it was just a straight, 25% down. We're going to purchase this. We're not living in it. It's just an investment property. So that was really cool. It's profitable. It's a nice little place. I think we got a good deal on it. And and that's where we're at. Brings us up into to modern day, and now I'm chilling in Hawaii. So
yeah, man,
rough life.
Yeah,
tough stuff. Now, do you think? Now, you said you've been there for almost. You're going to be there almost 2 months. And I asked you this before, but just do you think your real estate portfolio has kind of helped you to feel like you could do that, that you could travel for a longer amount of time than the average 1 week trip?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it, for me, it definitely makes me feel comfortable in like what we're doing. Not having to be at work or have like a 9 to 5 that we've got to bank on because we have, this is our retirement. The properties, and honestly, it really hasn't felt like it's helped until the last like year. Because I mean, you guys know how it is. Like when you're first starting, I mean, we went broke every time we bought a house.
Yep.
Every time.
Yep.
It was like, oh, how much money do I need to close on this property? And they're like, oh, 20,000. We're like looking at the bank account, like, okay, well, we got 21,000 in the bank, so.
Yep.
So now everything's kind of coming together. The checks are just coming in beginning of the month, and really we're kind of just breaking even by being out here, and like I said, my wife's out of work right now, so that kind of leads into why we're able to do this. She does have a day job that she has to work, so it sucks that she's sick, but it's kind of a blessing that we could get away for a little bit.
That's cool. So can you talk about what you felt over this whole COVID event as far as like in the investment world? Do you see how it's affected you versus like some people talk about it different, right? Like, oh man, it just completely wiped them out. Other guys are like, man, we're thriving. Mm-hmm. How did it affect you guys?
Yeah. So I've got, pretty limited exposure. I'm like a buy and hold cash flow, middle range purchaser here. Not super high units, but not super crappy ones either.
Sure.
So for me, I've had one tenant that just
problematic.
didn't pay. Knew that she didn't have to pay, and that went on for probably like 4 months.
Okay.
And then she finally just left. But other than that, it's been business as usual for me.
Cool.
As far as the rentals go.
So no major hiccups where, I mean, I do know some guys that are in that world, in either the multifamily world and or just, a portfolio of individuals where they're like, yeah, I mean, we're collecting 90%. And then maybe the first few months they weren't. And then it got back up for whatever reason. Maybe some checks came out or some benefits came out and people maybe did pay their rent with it. And that was helpful. But then, now they're saying like it turns out a problem. People are kind of back to norm. But in the beginning, there was a hit, right? Yeah,
I mean, and for me personally, I think that this tenant that was an issue with me, this was kind of in the middle. She was on time at the beginning of COVID. She was a waitress, lost her job, that type of deal, but was still kind of, making the payments. And then it was like middle of the road is when things were going bad for her. And now everybody's kind of back on track. So,
Yep.
Well, I got a question, Nick. So you did those 3 deals at the same time, which is, I feel like for most people is like, this is impossible. How would you do that? And I'm sure like younger Nick would probably think that's impossible too. How did you kind of make that happen? Right. You talked about, you house hacked one, or you just did a primary residential on the one you moved in. Mm-hmm. The other one, explain that one, and then maybe the 8 unit, because that's kind of the, you were able to figure that out. So if you can kind of let us know that a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah. So it was a lot. It was a hell of a lot.
It wasn't stressful, was it?
Not at all. And it was like perfect storm because we had, these offers went in all at different times, and I just kept saying, as long as they all don't close at the same time, we're going to be fine. As long as we can do one, and then I have a couple weeks, and maybe like a month or 2, we're going to be fine. But it is what it is, and that's just how it happens. So the second one, that single family house. So I sent out some postcards. So I was doing some driving for dollars. I was actually using Deal Machine. I was trying to do some Sean Bowen stuff and realized it wasn't for me. It's not my thing.
Come on, man. It's so easy.
It's so easy. And that's what I thought. I put a lot of time into it. I put some, a good amount of money into it, and I ended up getting that one deal. So, it wasn't a loss. It was a good experience for me. I'm glad that I did it, but, realized it wasn't for me personally. So that deal came from a postcard, and it was an older gentleman who lived in the house, and he was looking to just like move into an apartment or like a senior assisted living type of thing, because, this was a 3-bed, 2-bath, like 1,500 square foot, 130-year-old house.
Yeah, too much house for that guy.
It's a lot. It's a lot for an older guy.
Yeah.
So basically, his son contacted me and was like, "Hey, we got your postcard. We're thinking about selling. Like, what's your offer?" So I was like, "Oh," kind of did some research, put some numbers together, and sent him over an offer. And it was $47,500. And I said, this is going to be cash as is. I'm going to take care of everything, write you a check. But this is my highest offer. This is all I can do. And they said, okay.
Nice.
So I was like, all right, guess I got to come up with $50,000.
Now I got to come up with the money.
Yeah. So I raised $25,000 from
Nice.
2 private investors, just family friends, $25,000 from each, and was able to, write them the check for the $47,500. And I brought, at first I'll back up a little bit. At first I was like, this is going to be a wholesale deal because I don't have the $50,000.
Yeah.
I didn't have any way to buy it. So I was like, this is going to be a wholesale deal. It's got a good margin. It's a good property. As it sits right now, it's probably worth like 70 or 80, before I even touch anything. I'm paying 47, and I think I could sell it for 70 or 80. So I tried to wholesale it. I listed it up, and again, like, you think it's it's just easy, right? Somebody's gonna come, you got to find a cash buyer.
No cash, no credit, cash buyer, wholesale fee, easy all day.
I was gonna make a $15,000 wholesale fee, like they say on the radio. So,
yeah, man.
So I tried that for like a month, and no cash buyers came.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm talking to the seller, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna close. don't worry about it." I was like, "Take your time. Like whenever you want to move out, whenever
Really, take your time.
For real. Whenever you're getting your place, like whenever you're moved in and you got all your stuff out, you let me know, and we'll write you the check." And
yeah,
I played it cool.
Yeah.
And dude, it came down to the line. It came down to like the last week, and for whatever reason, it's probably my lack of marketing, my lack of like cash buyer list,
Sure.
my lack of really, being in that space. Because it was a good deal. I definitely could have, if I knew the right person and they were a buyer in that area, I think I could have wholesaled it, but it didn't come together. So that's when I raised the $50,000 and I bought it myself.
Nice.
But before I did that, I knew that these other 2 houses were going to close at the same time, the 8-unit and the single family that my family's going to live in. So I was like, there's no way I can renovate and like do all the 3 of these at the same time. I brought in a buddy from high school who is a electrician.
Okay.
And he had reached out to me a couple times about wanting to get into real estate. And I was like, hey man, gave him a call. I was like, hey, I got an opportunity for you.
I got a great deal for you.
Do I have a deal for you? So I was like, here's the deal, man. Here's this house. I just bought it for $47,000. And first he was like, oh my God. He's like, how did you get that? I was like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll pay for the house. I'll buy the house. You fix it up. You pay for the rehab. And then we'll burr it. We'll take all our money back. And we'll put a tenant in there, and it's going to be rehab. It's going to be nice, single family, nice rental, good rental rates, and we'll split the cash flow, and we'll split the equity, everything 50-50. Yeah. And he's like, all right, sign me up. Let's do it. I want to get in real estate. So he fixed it up. He put about 15,000 in materials. There really wasn't a ton that needed to be done on the house.
Right.
So he fixed it all up. We listed it up for rent. So we're all in like 65, 70K.
Yeah.
And we listed up for rent for like $1,400 a month. So
Damn.
the numbers were looking great, and they are great. But that's when he went to get the refi, pull all our cash out, or the finance, and they denied him. So I was like, all right, man. Well, the market's going up. Let's just sell it. Instead of managing this rental, we got good equity into it. We did a good job. This is your first deal. And I already had these other things going on. So I was like, yeah, let's just cash out.
Yep.
And 9 months later, we're still waiting to close. But we were under contract for 120.
Okay. Nice. So all in for 70-ish, right? And out the door at 120. And you guys get that to close up, man. That's a solid hit. You know what I mean?
We've got a backup deal at 125. The market's just crazy. It's not.
Yeah,
it's just
going up.
It's just the lenders.
Yeah.
Like my attorney is like, I've never worked with these lenders before, and I don't understand. They're out of like North Dakota, and they're not returning my phone call.
Yeah.
They're like, I just don't understand what's taking so long. So yeah, as long as we get it to close, it'll close.
There's a lot of rush going on in North Dakota.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean there, man. We've heard a few of those, having lender issues or whatever. So it's interesting to hear. But you guys get that to solid up. That's what, $50,000 and that's at 120, you said, and then you got 125, so that goes up to 55 after your 70 pay back. So that's a solid hit, man. That's a killer investment on cash return.
Yeah,
huge investment. He was in for what? What did you have him in for? Like less than $25,000?
Yeah, he's in it for 15K, and a lot of work, a lot of sweat.
Yeah, okay, got it.
He put his time in there, but only 15K cash about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then you and then for that 8plex, so you had to raise 25% on that 8plex. How'd you get that?
Yeah, so that 8 unit. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool strategy. Everything I've done has kind of been like, how do I make it work? Not, I can't make it work. You can always make it work. It's just you got to figure out how. So what we did for that 8 unit, I think we needed to come to closing with like 40K, 45K. Took a home equity line of credit on that Norfolk house. So that was a single family that we were Airbnb-ing the 1 bedroom out of. That had since been turned into a long-term rental.
Yep.
We had a bunch of equity in it. So we did a home equity line of credit on that. We pulled out 30K and used that 30K for the down payment. And then I went to the seller and said, hey, would you hold 10% as a note? So then he held, 27K as a note. So our purchase price there was $275.
That's awesome. Super creative. Love it.
So that's how we came up with that down payment.
That's awesome. Seller took back financing at any interest, just to carry back flat?
It was like 4% or 5% interest.
That's nothing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So you did a seller finance. You did. All right, hold on. Let me recap this last 3 deals. All right. So you did standard financing, right? You did private financing. You did a partnership. You did. You tried to do a burr.
Tried.
You did. Used the Heloc, and you did the seller finance. I might already said the seller finance. That's insane, man. You're just a glutton for punishment. That's awesome, though. I mean, what a learning experience.
That's what I'm doing, man. I'm just learning. I want to try everything once. Just
creative. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, it goes back to the creativity comes from, I have to figure it out, right? How do I do this? I'm safe. Everybody's safe that's joining me on this ride, right? This journey you're trying to figure out, but like you're doing it safely and everybody's got their money. Like that's a killer setup. And I mean, that's what happens all the time with this stuff. I love hearing that kind of stuff. People think, I give you this, I give you that, I give you a good return. Like you're jumping in. Your buddy was like, I'm ready to go in. Yeah, granted, it didn't go as fast as you want, but still, like I just did that calculation. Granted, he got a lot of sweat equity in it. That's still a 60% return. If you guys did that 50-50, like, damn, that's a hell of a gain. That's awesome.
Well, I think it all builds on each other because, like, if any one of those was like my first deal, like it probably wouldn't have went on. You know what I mean? Like that would have been like, I don't know if you can really pull it off. And the seller of the 8 unit would probably be like, I'm not going to carry back to you. And so and I probably wouldn't have been able to raise $50K from friends and family. So it all just builds on each other. And you prove yourself and you get your experience. You do that little deal, you do that first deal, and you just go to the second one and learn. We're all learning.
I think that's a good point to bring up to anybody that's watching this now, is that if you didn't hear that, like, this is a journey. This is not immediate. This is not overnight. It doesn't happen immediately. You've got to build that rapport up. And whether it's with a lender, whether it's with people that know you, it doesn't matter. Like, people have to know what you're doing. And it doesn't happen overnight. I think too many people and I don't want to say just a younger people, because even guys my age try to think they're going to jump in overnight and just like it happens. You know what I mean? I'm only in my 40s, but it doesn't work like that. People have to know, like, okay, that guy knows what he's doing. And if he doesn't, he's going to sign his ass to the line to make sure that he's going to go to McDonald's, get a job, and make it happen. Yeah. That's what's awesome to hear, is that you have that credibility behind you, that I hope anybody that's watching this is recognizing that and being like, he didn't just make this out of nowhere. Like, he knows what he's doing because he took the time to learn. And like you said, tearing that place apart in Virginia Beach, tearing that oceanfront, or not oceanfront, but like waterfront property, tearing it up, putting it back together, doing the sweat equity in it. Like, that's a big deal. People, they just don't want to put the work in anymore. They're so lazy. This is not this game, man. It's not lazy.
well, man, you see it on TV. They flip a whole house in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you kind of can't blame people. They just have like a skewed mindset of how much work and how long it's going to take,
Totally.
And, the gurus trying to sell classes and, just everybody, the get rich quick schemes have been around forever. And people hear so many of them, especially around real estate, that, they kind of think it's the norm, and they think that, there's got to be this quick way.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. There's people who, in 1 year, they do crazy stuff. And, but I don't think that that's the norm.
No, that's a one-off for sure.
Like, people think that they want to get into real estate because they want to not have to work.
Don't get into real estate.
You're like, that's not what this is. Real estate blesses the people that are willing to hustle, And I think, like, while you were doing that, you were a cop. You did that seating business. You're an entrepreneur by heart.
Yeah.
Like you tried some different things. And then, like, you went up there, up to New York, upstate, and you started your pressure washing business, and you're able to build some capital. You're able to build so that you can do something else, or whatever that next thing might be. It's, some people are full-time in real estate. I'm full-time in real estate, right. But it's not like I'm like, hey man, I'm just chilling back here, not doing anything.
Right. Yeah. People say full-time in real estate and they think that's chilling on a yacht somewhere.
Yeah, not yet.
But that's the thing, is you can get into real estate if you don't want to work anymore, but you got to work twice as hard for 20 years. And then after that, you'll be good. I mean, if you want to put the effort in, if you want to work twice as hard, you basically want to have 2 jobs for 20 years, then, you will be
successful. Have to have a job.
Yes.
Man, Anybody listening to this is just taking that as a big takeaway. Like, if you're going to do real estate, just know that you got to suck it up for 10 to 15 years, build your pipeline, build your legacy. Then you can sit back and relax. And I mean, how old are you again? How are you, Nick?
31.
So, I mean, you've been doing this for a short time. You know what I mean? And like at that age, like, man, I wish I had started young enough to go back and be like, man, I'd be way better off if I had started younger. But all the older guys say that shit. And that's why the younger guys, it's like, and I remember this too. Just listen to the older guys, take the time, but vet them. You know what I mean? Like, let them know that show, like, they really know what they're talking about. Because I think too many kids now, I say kids, it's younger generation. They want things.
Young whippersnappers. So
you know what I mean? Like, everything's so immediate because of the climate we're in. You know what I mean? Like, internet's immediate, phones immediate. Everything is so right at our fingertips, and it's like there's zero patience.
Yeah.
You can't do that in this industry. I know it shortens it up a little bit with certain things that we have, but this is a marathon, for sure, a marathon.
Delayed gratification.
Yes. Good.
You said
good.
right out of the gate, you're cheap, man.
Yeah.
I'm cheap as all get out. I mean, I remember when I got my first or my second property, and no one believed. Like, Stephanie's even cheaper than I am, so we're both super cheap. And we're like, "You guys have another property? What? No, you guys, you guys don't buy coffee because it's too expensive from 7-Eleven." So it's just this funny thing. Like, well, okay, well, how can I save money? How can somebody else pay for me to do these things? I mean, but eventually that builds into, this long-term wealth, if that delayed gratification. I mean, I think that's the game plan. You got the vision,
I think it's the leverage. I definitely feel like it's leverage as I've gotten older and learned how money works, and understanding how to move it and where it goes has been a really big learning point or turning point. Because, it's like when you're younger, you want to do the hustle and you're hard and you want to go and you want to learn. You make it like, I want to make that house look great and tear it up and put it back together, right? I don't want to do none of that shit no more. I want to put the money to work and watch it do it, right? But you get that crowd like you, like a younger guy that's like, yeah, I know how to do this. Watch this. Look what I can build. Watch what I can do. Look at the creativity I have. Hey, look at the opportunity I have for you to invest this, which you just said you want to sit back and make your money go to work. So I think that's a really good example of like delayed gratification, but to the point of like, take the younger guy. Are you taking the time to learn how to do that? Right? Like, or is that younger generation taking the time to learn how to get this creativity, make these types of things available, go to somebody that does have the money and say, hey, I have this opportunity for you. And I think I think a lot of people get afraid of talking to people with money because it's a taboo thing, right? You're not supposed to talk about money. It's very
nobody really, when I was growing up, wanted to talk about money, and I kind of found that weird. But I also think it's not even that talking about money is taboo. It's that for some reason in our society, wealthy people have become bad. And I don't know where this is coming from, but like, if somebody is successful or wealthy, like they somehow lied, cheated, and stole to get there. They didn't build. And I see that in our area. We've got this one guy who's really successful, owns like thousands of apartments, and everybody just hates on him. Like all over the internet, like where there's like comments and like ads and they just hate on him, and it's just like, I would love to talk to this dude, like have a beer and be like, hey man, like, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
But everybody else is like, oh, screw him, So I don't know where it's come from or why it's like that. But yeah, I think that you're right on point with it.
It's a blue collar mentality. It's you have to work so many hours, make so much an hour. That's that mentality that you're brought up in. If you don't break that cycle, that's where you get the hate on the people that have more than you because I can't get there. Right. But if you break that cycle and go to learn how the wealthy people got where they're at, that's where it breaks. Like, that guy's not bad. He's actually really freaking smart and I need to learn from him. That's where I think you're you're hitting it right on the head when you say, like, I don't know why people do this, but that's why. I mean, you don't go to public schools and learn anything but a trade to be a worker, right? But if you go to private schools, they teach everything about finances and money, and like it's very different. It's a very different model. So I think that's where it comes from. And I noticed that because I come from a blue collar family, and even today, in my family, people are like, "What is that all about, Sean?" And you're like, "I don't want to bore you because all you're gonna do is hate on it."
Right. Yeah, you gotta figure out how's he scheming? What's the scheme?
Totally.
Yeah.
Good talk, man. Good stuff. Anybody over in the comment section, if you guys want to open up some Q&A here for the last few minutes. Let's see if you guys have anything specific for Nick or Alex or myself, but hopefully more for Nick. He came on here talking about where he's come from, where he's gone, what he's doing. We've got it's common for most people who are successful to hoard that information. Actually, that's opposite. I don't know who wrote that, but it's common for most people who are successful to hoard that information. That's opposite. People that are successful are actually more giving than you think, and you have to be in the right crowd to see that. I've been around guys that are really successful, and if you are around them and actually care, take the time, ask the right questions, and don't just look for the get rich quick answer, then they're more than willing to help you with their time. Total opposite. I can do nothing but totally disagree with that statement. I hope you can see what I'm saying with that. But
and you wonder why people don't ask a lot of questions, Sean.
Keep asking though. Keep asking. Nick, what are your thoughts on that though? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think that was kind of addressed in Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know, anybody who's in real estate, they've been told to read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I think that was kind of addressed in there. And I don't know the exact words, but basically Robert Kiyosaki came to his buddy's dad and was like, how are you so successful? How do you own these companies? And he's like, well, if you really want to know, I'll teach you. And I think at that point, was when he said, none of my friends who aren't successful have actually came to me and asked.
Yep.
People that was his take on it is, people don't care because, for whatever reason, they don't think that, they deserve it, or what you're doing is right, or, I don't know.
Yeah. Assets versus liabilities. That's exactly what he's talking about when he talks about that. That's a good one.
What I think you don't want to share because you might, only have one of those things and you can't, you got to hold it in. But, what you did is you freaking busted your ass and just kept trying stuff, that is something that you're probably proud to share,
Right. Yeah, no, and like my wife probably hates me for it, because if somebody, in the supermarket stopped and like asked me questions about real estate, I'd be like, all right, so here we go. Here's where I started.
Totally.
Pull up a chair. And obviously I'm not like, this multimillionaire or anything like that, but like I just love talking about real estate. And I feel like a lot of people in the real estate game, like Sean and Alex and everybody that I'm friends with, we all just love talking about it too, because it's so powerful and can really change your life. And I'm going to speak for myself. I think you guys are going to say the same, but I'm I'm a C student here. I'm no genius.
I'm right with you, bro. I'm D. I'm a D student, like barely passed.
I work really hard for my C's. I will say that.
Shit. If you saw my handwriting or my language writing, you'd be like, that guy's an idiot.
Yeah. So it's not that we're like smarter than everybody.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. I think Sean kind of hit the nail on the head with like the mindset thing.
Totally.
And I think a lot of, why I've kind of got a little bit of success is because of mindset. And there's a lot of people who think they're just trapped in that you got to get a job. And you got to then try to get a job that'll pay you a little bit higher salary. And then you got to get a job that might make you a VP, or, give you a title and then give you a little bit more salary. And, that's definitely a life that I could never sign up, to do. And I'm not saying that I'm right and they're wrong, but it's definitely a different mindset. Like I just couldn't work for a company or a corporation and for all my life, because I know like the salary that they're paying me, like I'm making more money for them than they're paying me. So I would rather personally, if I'm going to bust my ass, I'd rather just bust my ass for myself.
Right.
And I'll keep the money.
Right. Yeah, I like that comment. I think you're right with mindset, because that's a big thing in the entrepreneurial world that a lot of people miss when they first get in. Because I'll go right along with you with the Rich Dad Poor Dad book was what changed my mindset, because I had no idea what that was until I met somebody and introduced me to it. And I don't read books. Like, I am not a reader. I am Audible. And I listened to the audio version of it. And it was just
I listened to it on YouTube, man.
Yeah, like, whoa, you know what I mean? And the first thing I think that I remember, the biggest key hit or like punch to the face was like dollar for dollar or dollar for hour. That was the change. That was the mindset shift, and being like, oh, that's a thing. That's real. What does that even mean? You know what I mean? So like from there, I was just hooked. And I even say it to our guys now and anybody I work with. What are you worth in an hour? Whatever you negotiate. That's it. It's that simple. And people overthink it too much. So that's a killer answer, man. I like that. That mindset is a big one. Because people, I mean, even as you get into the bigger stage of entrepreneurship and make more money, like there's still going to be problems. Mm-hmm. Things you have to address. What's the rapper? It was like, more money, more problems.
Right? It's true.
It's totally true, man.
I believe that was late grade Puff Daddy.
Was it? Nice. Yeah, I don't know who wrote that question, man. I didn't mean to like punch you in the face, but yeah, I think it's just a mindset shift totally. And hopefully you can Google that and see what it's all about, because tons of books, man. Tons and tons of books. I am not a reader. I do not like to read. I will listen to audiobooks, and man, I got through 4 books this past year just by Audible. I was like, wow, game changer, you know? And it's hard to do. Like, it's not fun. But then you start listening to it, you start really paying attention and using it. That's the other part. You're going to read something, at least execute on it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, you executed on Rich Dad, Poor Dad by doing what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Podcasts are a big thing for me. And like the way I've kind of shifted and made it easier, because like you said, it's hard. You know, it's hard to open up a book or turn on Audible and like sit down and put your headphones on. So like the kind of shift that I've done in my life is when I'm in my truck driving, don't listen to the radio. I listen to podcasts.
Nice.
And like, yeah, at first it's kind of different because everybody just gets in the car, listens to the radio. But I mean, I've been doing it, you know, probably back in 2014 when I was buying my first property. You know, I said I was, you know, looking at Bigger Pockets, listening to some Bigger Pockets podcasts, and realistically on and off, you know, since then, that's, you know, what I've been doing. And it's just natural for me now. Like I'm, you know, taking a 20-minute drive. Oh, let's turn on a podcast, get a little bit of information. 90% of that stuff is probably going to go in one ear, out the other, but there's going to be that little gem. You're like, oh man, I never thought about that. And, you know, instead of just beatboxing to the music as you're driving down, you're making that brain work, thinking. So next time you hear something, you're like, oh, yeah, we could do this strategy. Or, you know, I heard somebody talk about this on a podcast, and it just keeps your brain working and more, you know, problem solving. So when a problem comes in front of you and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, you know, I think your mind just works through it easier because you just hear people talk about it. You're immersed in it all the time.
Nice. Somebody said, yes, that's helped me a lot. I've shifted my music to Clubhouse and podcasts. That's good. Yeah, that's a good one, man. Clubhouse. I just found that. Have you guys heard about that app? Clubhouse?
No.
Get on it, man. It's really cool. I just found it this past weekend and did a bunch of YouTube videos of like how it works and whatever. It's not complicated, but get the app on your phone. And then you can start searching for what you want to go into. I was just real estate, everything, but I was also into marketing. So I probably spent the better part of almost 4.5 hours this past weekend in different rooms. And you just listen to it. And there's these people that come in and talk. They're not pitching. They're not trying to sell you shit. Some are, but majority of them aren't. And they're just sharing information. And I took away some like golden nuggets on marketing stuff, or somebody was specifically talking about building capital. That was one room that was just about build from multifamily to commercial to residential to land. Like It was a really big, almost like a TED Talk moment where you go to these events. It was the same kind of thing. Elon Musk was in a room the other day, and I don't know if you guys saw this or heard about it, but it was pretty funny. You talk about like a punch to the face from somebody that like is pretty big in the market. A guy asked him in one of his questions, he said, hey, what was the one big thing you would suggest to an entrepreneur as motivational? And he's like, if you need motivation to be an entrepreneur, don't be an entrepreneur. Wow. Yeah. Whoa. But yeah, that's one of the new things I think I just found, and it's really cool. So if anybody's listening to that, that's a good feedback. Whoever that Facebook person was, that's a good one. And podcasts always, there's so much of that. Bigger Pockets, that's awesome. Tons of stuff on there. Tons of stuff.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's tons other out there. And, it probably doesn't matter who you're really listening to, but, you're listening to somebody who's talking about real estate, successful people, how they made money over and over again. And it just becomes the norm if you keep hearing about it.
Yep. Ingrained in your brain.
We appreciate you being on here. I think your story of your hustle, your creativity, starting young, and just not being afraid to just freaking jump in the damn fire and maybe get burned a little bit, but ended up getting where you had to go. I just think it's a great message to everybody, just to kind of keep up the hustle. And, we appreciate you being on here.
Awesome.
I appreciate your friendship. Best to you and Care. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your time in Hawaii, even though I'm extremely jealous.
It was a little cold today. It only got to like 81. So
that is just being an ass.
Yeah, man. So we appreciate you coming on. If anybody else, if you guys want to throw out any questions, hit us up. But
last question we got here,
yeah,
Mark Miller.
Question when I'm trying to do my closing statement. Come on, man.
Let's shut it down. Seems like home prices
last question.
Norfolk, Ocean View are starting to level off from the crazy valuations that have been out for the past 2 years. What are your thoughts on that, Nick? Well, you're not doing that much over there anymore. So.
No, my thoughts are I'm gonna leave it to the local guys, because I haven't really looked down there recently. So what do you guys think?
That's Alex's world.
I don't think anything's leveling off, man. I think it's going nuts. To be honest. Now Norfolk as a whole might be leveling off. Like Ocean View is just building up still, though. I think, honestly.
No, I think I'm going to go with Norfolk is not leveling off. I think it's still rising at the moment. We're still seeing you can see a property go today for 10 to 15,000 over what the last property, identical, matching everything. Yeah. They're just pushing it, and they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's not stopping right now. And again, it's like anything, it's going to fall, but when, who knows?
I don't think it's in this season.
No, I do not think it's in this season. The next one you had was, hey, Nick, how many years ago did you get started? You probably stated this earlier, but he didn't hear it.
Yeah. So I've been in real estate probably 8 years since I bought that first 3-unit in New York.
How old were you again?
So I was 22, 23.
Nice. God, I wish I was doing anything in my 20s at real estate. That's awesome.
Yeah, my first house was 24, but it was also 2007.
What were you saying, Nick?
It took me the last 14 years to get back.
What did you say, Nick?
But that goes to my point. I was going to say anybody who's young and wants to get into this game, I mean, time and principal pay down and everything is on your side.
Get it, man. Get it.
If you buy anything when you're 20 years old, no matter what happens in 30 years, when you're 50, you're going to have a free and clear property that's going to probably double, if not triple in value. Like, the amount of money that you're going to make from just one of those, just one purchase when you're young, even if you do everything wrong and, make all these mistakes, you don't need to retire tomorrow. So buy it now.
Nice. I love it, man. I love it.
Damn.
I love it.
We will conclude on that. Nick, man, awesome. Thank you for coming on, man. And that was a perfect ending because that's exactly what needs to be said.
Yeah, man.
We appreciate you guys. Next time we'll be on next month, last Tuesday of the month. This is Opportunity. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And if you got any questions, shoot them to the Facebook page. Sean, you got anything? Oh,
what beer is everybody drinking? So I had the New Realm Hoplandia IPA. Nick, what do you got?
This is Kona Brewing, brewed here in Hawaii, Longboard.
Nice.
Oh, the classic.
Very good, very good.
Tall boy, I like it.
At the pier, used to sell them at the pier for $1, man.
What?
Really?
This is a long time ago, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Freaking OV, man. OV.
Nice. What do you got, Alex?
I've got Kova. So this I just picked up today on my way back.
COVID. What?
Not COVID. Mister. So this is a new brewery out in Ocean View that just opened up East Beach.
Nice.
It's pretty good. It's called Hobbit's Hazy.
Is that old bank? Used to be an old bank.
No, it's right across from East Beach before you hit the bridge.
Okay.
Oh, that's that brewery we went to. What's that place called? The Old Bank that we go to?
The Old Bank is why am I having a brain fart?
Ladies, help us out here.
We've had like 4 meetings.
Bowl Mariner.
Bowl Mariner, yeah.
Oh, got it. Right as the kid one. Got it.
Bowl Mariner. Yeah, we've met there like so many times.
I know.
Like every day.
Ladies, come over here and join us for a hot second. What are y'all drinking? I know that y'all were helping us, but what's everybody drinking? Ashley, Vanessa, what y'all drinking?
If you want to jump on.
I'm not going to show a video. My plan was to drink rosé and then ended up drinking hot chocolate. So
nice.
Can't hate on hot chocolate.
Hate on hot chocolate. Vanessa, what do you got?
Kid duty for me, so water.
Kid duty and water. Nice.
They said kid doo-doo.
Yeah.
I mean, with kid duty, never know.
Cousin's off today.
Nice.
Long day. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining. We're going to cut out of here. We almost ended on time, but
a little bit over.
We try.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, always love talking about real estate, and it's great to catch up with both of you. Hope everything's going well. Business is killing. And thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. As usual, always check us out at Opportunity. You can check us out on our Facebook page. We've got that. That's where you get as much attention as we can to give you guys these notifications and any business and what's coming up, the next meetings. And then, of course, if we get back in local in time, in person, we're going to show you guys that as well. And really look forward to meeting you guys. Remember, if you're in Hampton Roads, we now have our Peninsula chapter. So Cameron Peters has started that up right before COVID. And we're going to get that going again. And we're also going to get the South Side open back up again. So looking forward to getting those going and seeing you guys in person. And we'll probably try to do these as well, where we've got some pretty high-tech audio equipment. We might be able to make it happen and still keep the virtuals as well as in person. But thanks again, guys. We really enjoyed you guys joining us. Thank you so much for your questions. Nick, thanks for joining us, man. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Hating on you for being in Hawaii, but thanks again.
Nick hung around too after we closed out, but
yeah,
okay, cool. Thanks again, guys.
Peace.
Later.